Welcome to a special episode of GeekastX. I'm Jake.
I'm Sean.
I'm Brian.
And today
with us a very special guest, Mr. Jeff Taterrek. Is that how you say that?
Taterrek, yeah, that's close enough.
All right. How you doing, Jeff?
Pretty good now. I wanted to apologize again for all the folks listening to the podcast. This is actually starting a bit later than we wanted because my Skype was being a total putz and would not let me log in at all. I actually had to create a brand new account just so I could do this. I really wanted to be a part of this.
Okay,
awesome.
We're
very honored.
Jeff is with the Columbus Ghostbusters.
Yes.
The Ghostbusters. The Columbus Ghostbusters, not the New York ones.
Now, I'm not trying to out Jake at all, but Brian and I are like diehard Ghostbuster fans.
Oh, I love me some Ghostbusters.
Wait, we just lost him.
No!
Oh, shit. Leave it on the cast.
I know.
Leave it on the cast.
Keep it. I wonder if
He just said how his Skype was sucking. So,
Right?
if you're listening to us right now, you'll understand.
Get him back.
It's going. There's a problem with it says there's a problem with this call. Hold while we try to get the call back.
There's a ghost in the machine. Ah!
Dun, 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 dun. I wonder if he
Busting
thinks
makes
it's
me feel
live.
good. What?
I said I hope he doesn't think it's live.
Right? That'd be hilarious.
It says I'm hosting this call.
Now I'm back. I can hear
Yes,
you guys.
okay, good, okay. Whew.
We missed you.
Yeah, we just did like
I was
all
all
the...
alone. It was cold.
Okay. So wait, where were we? Oh yeah, so I wasn't trying to out Jake or anything, but Brian and I are diehard Ghostbuster fans. But Jake is very unfamiliar with Ghostbusters.
I'm not unfamiliar. I've seen the
That's gotta
movies.
change.
Yeah. Oh, I've totally seen the movies. I'm just
Today you're gonna learn.
they've slept and breathed this stuff since they were
I was
kids.
an honorary Ghostbuster when I was 10.
Yeah, Brian and I, when we were kids, we used to watch Ghostbusters so many times that we burnt through like 5 VHSs of it.
You wore them straight out?
Yep.
We'd like sit there and watch it in our little Ghostbuster gear. Who made that stuff? Kenner made those toys.
Yeah.
I always wanted that stuff, but I never got it. I always wanted the pack.
Oh yeah.
And I remember I could never find it at Toys R Us or Children's Palace or any place like that. And I never really had any of the figures because, to be honest, they weren't realistic enough for me. They weren't enough like the characters. I just wanted, even though it was real Ghostbuster, the animated show, they weren't true to the characters. I didn't want all those wacky weapons and things. I just wanted something straight, and that sort of led me not get any of the toys.
So wait, I have a question really quick. Now, as an adult, did you get the ones by Mattel?
I have a couple of the Mattel props, the Matty Collector props. I have the PKE meter and I have the trap.
Well, I was also the figures.
No, actually, I didn't. I kind of got away from figures at this point in my life because I've been throwing any spare cash that I've got towards the pack and some of the other products that I'm doing now that are not Ghostbusters related.
Right. So wait, what were you saying about the props that you have?
Oh, from the Matty Collector series, I do have the PKE meter, which was the first one that came out with, and then I got the trap, which was the next one. I skipped the goggles, and I skipped the Neutrona one, the particle thrower, because I had already built my pack by that point, and some people have it, but to be honest, they're nice, they're beautiful, they're just not constructed as solidly as I would like if I was going to use it as a prop all the time.
Right. Do you feel like they're kind of like since they're like manufactured, they're a little bit like a little cheap versus like if you had made it yourself? 'Cause aren't they like since they're light plastic, it kind of feels like not as fun.
They are fairly light plastic. I mean, they do look very nice. The PKE meter I do carry with me all the time because it's pretty solid for what it is. It's not very large to begin with. The trap I carry around on occasion, but I have to be careful how I hold it because the air hose that it goes from the trap to the pedal will pull right out because it's nothing but a 3.5 millimeter jack in a plastic housing. So it's not like a true air fitting that you can actually hold by the cord, like Aykroyd did when they were carrying it out. I kind of have to cradle it as I do. So I wish it was. I mean, I do want to. That makes me want to build a trap now, so that I can have the proper air fittings and I can swing that thing around like an incense.
Like in church.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
All right.
Well, I'm going to ask the obvious question. Do you believe in ghosts?
I define myself as an optimistic skeptic. And what that means is I want to believe that ghosts exist. I want to believe all the supernatural stuff exists. I want to believe that Stonehenge is, an energy conduit through all the ley lines that goes with the earth. But, I mean, so I've read about all that stuff. I try to keep up on it as much as I can. But I don't think there's enough hard evidence. I think if real proof of the supernatural, if life after death, ghosts and such, actually did exist, it'd be front page news all across the world. It wouldn't be relegated to TV shows on, the Travel Channel or Learning Channel, and consisting of people wandering around darkened buildings with night vision cameras and just saying, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?" to each other. I mean, that's not proof to me.
Right.
Well, that actually.
So no, yes and no. I want to believe, but they're not there.
Oh, well, that's interesting because that would lead me into my next question. Is Ohio is, I guess, one of the most haunted states in the U.S. Do you ever participate in ghost hunters or ghost adventure type stuff with Ghostbusting?
No. I get asked that all the time if I do this for real, and by real, I mean you actually do ghost hunting, and they say it when I'm in full gear with my car and everything, and I just have to look at them and say, no, this is about a 30-year-old film franchise that I really enjoy, and decides to, emulate it.
Yeah.
With replica props and stuff. So no, I don't. And I think if I were ever asked seriously to go, and I actually did accept an invitation, I would go in full costume with all the props. And I would roll up like the siren rolling, and I would troll them mercilessly throughout the entire.
Yeah, with the PKE, I think we got something over here.
What? This is just as accurate as yours. What are you talking about?
But I gotta say, I agree definitely though. I think Bill Nye says it best when he says do I believe in ghosts? No, but would I like to see one? Yes.
Exactly.
Great.
So, yeah, you were talking about the 30-year franchise. Are you going to get the 30th anniversary special edition Blu-ray?
I gotta get a Blu-ray player first, but yeah, I wouldn't mind having it. I already have the DVD set, which is okay. Yes, if I had a Blu-ray player, I would definitely go for it. I'm actually collecting some Blu-ray discs that I can't watch because I don't have. I've got all of Farscape. I've got Pacific Rim, and I'm probably going to start hunting down the Iron Man films as well on Blu-ray. But so yes, that is a conditional yes. Do I have a Blu-ray player? No, I'm not getting the discs yet. Do I have a Blu-ray player? Yes, I'm getting them.
Huh. Great.
Right, I feel like that's if you're a gamer and you want the next gen console, so you buy next gen games to force yourself to get the next gen console.
That's about right. I mean, the price point for Blu-ray players is right around $70-$80 to get this year's model Samsung, which is probably what I'll go for. So it's just a matter of pulling the trigger and wanting to do it.
So I have a question really quick. What's your favorite prop that you have?
That's kind of a loaded question. They're all my children. I really like the Matty PKE and Trap because they are about as cinematically close as a collector's toy can get. Mm-hmm. The Trap is really nice because of the way that it goes through the whole cinematic sequence by stepping on the pedal. You step on the pedal, it opens up. Step on the pedal again, it lights up and closes. Trap's a ghost. The LEDs light up, and if you leave it sit, have you played with this trap at all?
No, but I've seen it online before, reviews and stuff.
Okay, you can see how whatever's trapped inside tries to get out.
Yeah, it rumbles a little bit.
Yes, it is quite nice.
Oh, that is so cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah, it's a great prop. It's fun to have. I just wish it was a little bit more sturdily built, but that's the trade-off you get.
You like those better than the Proton Pack? I feel like that would be my favorite thing.
That's what I was going to get to. Is like my favorite prop though is the proton pack because I built it from scratch.
Right.
Yeah,
Is it heavy?
I've got it's about 25, 30 pounds. I haven't actually. It is, but it's on that Alice pack frame, that military grade frame, so it distributes the weight pretty well. It is a little bit of a chore to wear it after a few hours. I will say that. But
I can imagine.
that's my favorite because I built that from scratch.
So with the 30th anniversary, there's a lot of talk of a reboot. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's about as official as it can get right now that it's going to be a reboot. That Ivan Reitman is producing, and he's got Paul Feig. I got Feig. I honestly don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he's co-writing and directing, I believe. With I can't remember the other person he's co-writing with, but it's a woman. And of course they had the whole crap storm. For the fans is that it's going to be an all-female cast and it's going to be a reboot. It's not going to be a true sequel, and they're peeing all over our childhood. And well, it's the same thing you hear for any kind of reboot. Right. I guess part and parcel for Hollywood being as creatively bankrupt as some would believe it to be.
Yeah.
I don't mind a reboot. I'm interested to see what they do with it. I'm just happy that all the Ghostbusters 3 rumors that Aykroyd is coming back and he's going to get Bill Murray. Bill Murray's not coming back. Hopefully a lot of that can finally be put to rest, and we can actually concentrate on a film that will go to production by all indications. As far as casting goes, I'd love to see someone like Tina Fey in it. I'd love to see someone. I mean, Gillian Anderson of Scully from the X-Files has said it. It's like, I want to be in this. I can do a lot of good comedy. Might seeing her in it. Melissa McCarthy, I'm kind of divided on because I haven't seen a whole lot of her work. I'm aware that she can do really good deadpan comedy. I think St. Vincent's Day with Bill Murray, coincidentally. It looks like that's the sort of role I'd like to see her play. That sort of non-Chris Farley role that I've seen her in so much, so many of her other roles, and I can't stand that at all. I wasn't a big Chris Farley fan, and to see someone, the female version of it, is just... It's repellent to me. I know she's.
I agree. I get the same thing. Like it's like she makes like the fat jokes and goes for the easy laughs.
Well, it's the loud, bumbling physical comedy, which she's better than that.
Yeah.
So I hope if she's going to be in this film, I hope she's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
I hope she's the straight Venkman character.
Yeah.
Have you met the actors at all? I know. I forget his name right now. Ernie Hudson. He goes to like everything.
He is the only one that I've met.
Same.
I got him on my pack. I got a picture with him in front of my Ecto Magnum. And, he's a really cool guy. He's really genuine and down to earth. And I think he's still pretty opinionated about Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I read an interview with him, and he was talking about the whole him being. His role being diminished in Ghostbusters because apparently Winston was supposed to play a bigger part in the movie.
Yes. I mean, what I've heard is that he was supposed to be former military and thus have some training that he could call upon from his past. Also, that the role was originally written for Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy wouldn't do it because he was doing something else at the time. So they brought in Ernie Hudson, and it's clear. I mean, I think the fans have really cottoned to him as like their favorite character because he is so close with the fans. I mean, probably second. I would even say second to Dan Aykroyd. I mean, Dan Aykroyd is big with the fans, but he's got a lot of other things on his plate between all of his paranormal stuff that he does and Skullhead Vodka, and probably being upset that he's not involved with Ghostbusters 3 as much as he would like to be at this point. He's actually been kind of sullen on his Twitter and his Facebook. I think the only thing he said he's just been talking about his vodka. He hasn't mentioned the film at all, despite I'm sure. Yeah, despite being asked by anyone, like, "What do you think about it? Does it suck? Do you think it's gonna suck?" I think we're gonna get that eventually.
Yeah.
But either he is involved with the film and can't say anything, which I doubt, because I think he'd be crowing from the rooftops that it's actually happening.
Right.
I think he's, until proven otherwise, I think he's been more or less been shut out of this.
Yeah. I heard that he wanted to do like a Marvel cinematic thing with the Ghostbusters, and that's why he's all like, bummer.
Wow. I don't know how I have no answer to that.
Yeah.
That's how far out of left field it seems to me. I think Dan Aykroyd is not on this earth, so to speak. I think he's a little going off the deep end.
A little bit like Margot Kidder.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's probably gonna end up hiding in someone's woodpile at some point.
Speaking about Marvel and all that, Jeff, do you read the comic book at all? Any Ghostbuster comics?
I read a couple of them. I haven't read them religiously. I like some of the artwork that happens in them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I do have a couple of the collected graphic novels. I don't remember the names of them offhand, but I did get a couple of them, and the art for those was okay. I mean, whoever was drawing Ecto-1 had no clue what they were doing. The proportions were way off. It looked like picture painting at times. But it's one of those things where I think going back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I read Marvel as a teenager for quite a while, and I enjoyed X-Men, that sort of thing. And that was around the late 80s, so that'd be 88, 89 or so. And then I got away from Marvel for a long time. And now I am a huge Cinematic Universe fanboy. So much so that I'm going back and reading Iron Man from the very start, and it's a slog, let me tell you.
You bet it is.
Like starting at like the original first appearance.
Oh yeah, starting with the Tales of Suspense, and then going to his own title. I'm sort of trying to save Extremis and some of the other more recent titles that the movie started to borrow from. I'm saving those for last because it'll be a reward for trying to get through some awful books. But getting back to the comic books, for Ghostbusters, seeing it at a point in my life when I did, I was about 12 or 13 when it was first in theaters, and that is what I held on to, was that image of how they looked, and that kind of a story. So any kind of side stories that had those same characters, with the exception of Real Ghostbusters, the animated show, I love that too. Just seeing those in comic book form, it rang a little hollow to me, that it wasn't up to par. And so I kind of stayed away from those, and that is sort of a mindset that stuck through all the IDW titles, even though I'm sure some of them are really pretty good. And if I got my hands on them, I would read them. But no, it was never a high priority to read the Ghostbusters comics for me.
Huh.
That's funny. That's actually my next question. Which did you see first, cartoon or movie? Which one did you like more?
That was actually
Have you ever seen the like fan art where like it's the movie actors, but they're drawn to look like they're made up like the cartoons?
I haven't seen that. I've seen several in different artistic interpretations of the movie characters in animated form in different artistic forms. I haven't seen probably the one you're thinking of specifically. Mm-hmm. I mean, those kind of interpretations I'm okay with, because that's an artistic expression that doesn't need scripts and plotting and all that thing to go with it. It's just someone's impression of how they should look. I mean, those things I'm much more happy with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite Buster and/or Ghost?
Oh, for crying out loud! I immediately go to Venkman with Spengler second. Because I think when I'm in costume, interacting with people, I have the smart-ass Bill Murray attitude going.
Yes.
But I've got elements of them all in the persona that I project to people when I'm doing events. But as far as my favorite characters in the films, it's Bill Murray first, Spengler second. I mean, these are all very, very close. Spengler's.
Where'd he go?
Oh no. Not again. Come on. Jake, jump in there and ask some questions, would you?
We're still recording, aren't we?
Jake, did you die?
No.
No, we lost him again.
I don't want to interrupt. You guys telling some cool shit.
No, dude.
Yeah, this guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty sweet.
He knows his stuff.
Right?
Man.
There is no more Jeff. Only Zool.
There is no Jeff, only Zool.
Okay. All right, hang on a second. You guys dropped out for a couple of seconds there. So what was the last thing you heard from me?
What was it? Spengler was second.
Yes.
Spengler second, Ray Stantz third, and Winston definitely not last, but surrounding them all.
Yes.
I will never put Winston last.
Okay.
That's another thing about the comic it focuses a lot more on Winston and his like story and his kind of role in the Ghostbusters, and I like that a lot for the comic.
Yeah, and I think that's the fans saying that they think that the character Winston Zeddemore got a raw deal in the films, so they're trying to make up for it by making him front and center with some of the comics, which and that's a viewpoint that I support.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he has some of the best lines.
He does.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Well, he's the everyman.
You say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the everyman.
He's the everyman. He is.
I'll believe anything if there's a.
He's the audience put into a character.
There's a paycheck involved.
I'll believe anything you say.
Winston.
Have you?
Man, one time I got
I'm
to
sure-
meet
were you-
Ernie Hudson. He got sick or something. It was free. When was that? It was like a year ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago at Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to pull
We're
out
gonna
because he had
meet
emergency
Ernie
surgery.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so heartbroken.
But
about
they made
that.
up for it. Remember, he came back.
Yes.
He came a couple weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was roughly a month later, and he did it mostly on his own dime. I think any appearance fee that he had, he went straight to charity. Any autograph fees went straight to charity. I may be misremembering some of the details, but he definitely did give up his autograph fees. They went straight into the charity bucket.
That is a cool
Nice.
dude.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty-
we'll talk about.
So, were you excited to see the Krispy Kreme donuts come out?
God,
I haven't
beat me
seen them
to it.
yet. I haven't seen them. We're going on the 25th, and we're gonna crash the Westerville, the Dublin location. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that early enough in the morning because we have another event that day. We're gonna be at the Mall of Tuttle Crossing for their Malloween event.
No way.
Yeah, dude. That's
Yeah.
I work
We
over
gotta-
there.
We gotta go to that.
When is that, Jeff?
Yeah.
It's on the Saturday the 25th of October from 11 until 3.
I'm working.
Yeah, you can get there. We'll be there before that. We'll be there, I think, at 9:30 to start setting up before the mall opens, so that
So-
we're not, running over children with our
Yeah.
car.
So how do you do people just call you to book events like in Ghostbusters 2, like for the party and everyone starts chanting He-Man?
Oh yeah.
We've never had anyone chant He-Man. I've only personally done one birthday party. I think we've had some of our other members do them as well. It's a little bit. It's partly people call us because they found out about us on Facebook or at another event, and they're interested in us being part of something that they've got. Or it'll be a case where we see there's something Ghostbusters related going on in town, and we'll contact them and say, we dress up. We have the props. We've got, we can add a presence to your event. Would you like us to be there? And almost universally, it's been, there are people that do this? Yes, please come.
Yeah.
So it's never, I never feel like it's a gross imposition upon somebody. We never crash an event. We always ask beforehand, do you mind if we come to this? We don't charge appearance fees or anything like that. If you feel like you need to give us money, give it to charity. We just want to come and have fun and, bring some visibility to your event. The Mall of Tuttle Crossing is one that we did get called about.
Nice.
And
That's pretty cool.
conversely, I reached out to Krispy Kreme to both of the locations for when the donuts launched earlier this month, and I never really got a response back from them, which is a little odd. So
Yeah.
I may not even send them a courtesy email in the next couple of days, and we may just show up.
You should film
There you
that
go.
and just show
Totally
up in
do
the,
that,
in the
yeah.
tax. Like, can I get
Ghostbusters flash mob.
Well, there'll be like 3 or 4 of us, so yeah. Well, actually, that would be pretty good for that size of a place.
How many people do this, Jeff?
In this area, that we have a sort of an amorphous membership of between 6 to 8 people. In the state of Ohio alone, I think there are close to half a dozen groups. There's one in Toledo, Cleveland, Philadelphia's got a few people.
Do you guys have
Dayton,
conventions?
Cincinnati. Not on our own. I just don't go to as many. The one that I go to is OhioCon in January because I co-produce the Anime Hell programming event that's there. And if I feel like dressing up, I'll do it. I did go to Mid-Ohio Con when it was still Mid-Ohio Con a couple of times, mostly just hang out in costume and then go away. But now that it's Wizard World, no way am I going to it because they've got such a grasp on your cash. I think if they could charge you money to breathe the same air as the guests, they would.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
It's a glorified expensive dealer's room. There are some token guest events. If you and I've heard that if you even make line of sight with Lou Ferrigno, he tries to charge you money. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but it's not too much of one.
No,
that's the second time we've heard that. That's the second time we've heard that.
Yeah, Wizard World will not get any of my money because of the business model that they have.
Huh.
But as far as other stuff, I've heard Origins has been trying to get more of a costume presence, so I might have to go to that.
Oh, cool.
Do you have multiple costumes?
I always wanted to go to Origins.
Not yet. I do. The Ghostbusters one is the primary one that I have now. I'm in the process of building an Iron Man Mark 7 suit.
Yes.
I wanted to have it done, at least wearable by Halloween. But that's not going to happen because I had someone ask me if I could. Actually, I take that back. I volunteered to make a Star-Lord mask.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
For someone that my wife knows.
Do you do other cosplays other than, like, Ghostbusters?
I will be doing Iron Man soon.
Okay.
I want to have that done by OhioCon, which will be the very end of January next year. And I want to have as many bells and whistles on it as I can for May 2015 for Avengers 2.
What are you making it out of?
Craft foam. 5mm and 7mm and 3mm craft foam. Using Papercraft Pepakura templates.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like to make costumes too. This year, I'm gonna dress up as Jake and I are gonna. I'm sure you're frowning upon us, but we're gonna go to Wizard World Comic Con as Deathstroke and Arrow from.
Okay. Yeah, that's a show that I've wanted to get into. I'm aware of it. I know that it's basically the closest thing that DC has to the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely good.
They've got heroes playing with each other, which they don't have elsewhere. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't have anything else currently. All the stuff that I did is way in the past. Like 20, 25 years ago, I had Colonial Marine armor that I built mostly out of cardboard. I scratch built the pulse rifle out of illustration board.
Wow.
And I had like a single side view line drawing to work with, and scaled it wrong, so it was larger than it needed to be, but it just made it look more impressive. I have done a couple of full armor costumes. Like the very first one I did was Zeta Gundam, and that was 30 years ago maybe. And then in 93, 94, I did from a Japanese show called Mobile Police Pat Labor. I did the title mecha for that, which was the AB-98 Ingram, which note to the wise, always test your costumes before you take them somewhere, because I look at it now and it's terribly clunky, and I could not move in it at all.
I learned that from Heroes of Cosplay.
I noticed with my I'm going to Deathstroke, and I noticed with my Deathstroke costume it heats up really fast.
Can I just point out
that do that as well, because it's gonna be solid foam.
Was that right?
I said, can I point out that we even managed to drop an Arrow reference in our Ghostbusters special?
Yeah. That's like a running joke with our podcast. We always mention Arrow somehow. We should change it to Arrowcast X.
Okay, well, I'll counter with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I may start watching it. This may have put me over the edge to actually start watching it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's definitely
yes, it is. Like
cool
the
show.
seasons, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would give some time or have some patience for the first maybe like 5 episodes.
Oh yeah, the first season. Like, see, this is what happened with me. I basically what did I call it? Batman with a tampon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like super moody in the beginning, but like after you get past the first couple episodes, it picks up and it's really awesome. And then season 2 is just like super amazing.
Alright. It's nerdgasmic.
They have plenty of the like mopey relationship crap that just especially in the beginning is just like so unneeded, and then they move on and it's just become more and more about
Oh,
Arrow and
queen
what he
being
does.
badass.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Oh, do you have any tips on like building your own? Like, what if we want to build a Ghostbuster costume or like a proton pack? Like,
Yeah,
any advice on that?
I have plans to be Ghost
yeah.
Egon for Wizard World.
Just sort of paint yourself with like Christmas tree flocking, so you're like all covered in white.
Yep.
That would work. I would recommend the first place you go to if you want to have a Ghostbusters outfit that is not the store-bought one with the inflatable pack.
Right.
That will get you laughed at behind your back. I would suggest that you go to a website called gbfans.com.
Yes.
GB.
That's what I'm familiar with.
Yes, gbfans.com. Go there, register an account so you can get into the forum, and start looking at all of the reference that they have there. All my pack was built from line drawings and other reference photos that were on that site. They can give you ideas as to, like, if you're looking for a very specific part, they can tell you exactly what that part is. They also have a marketplace, the whole cottage industry that any kind of fandom has about replica props. They will have runs of resin casts of some of the harder to find electronic parts and the harder to find air fittings. You can get custom patches made on eBay. There's Katara 7, Katara 8, I can't remember which. But anyone who's had any kind of science fiction or fantasy patches from eBay will usually end up with this person who is very good. We've had custom patches made for the Columbus Ghostbusters. She also does custom name patches.
Cool.
So that's between all those places. It all sort of revolves around GB fans as far as being a center place for reference, for discussion, and for showing off what you've done.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. I've definitely I've been there a few times to look for like a gun belt or whatever. I know those are hard to find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was lucky to find a khaki belt at the local surplus store here in Lancaster, and it's pretty good. I did get a Rothko flight suit off of Amazon, which has that sort of an orangey khaki look to it. Mm-hmm. Ran that through the wash with a box of gray dye, and that sort of gave it sort of a very slight purplish cast, which is closer to what it looks like on film.
See, mine is kind of orangey too. That's a good. Thank you for that tip. That's gonna be great.
Yeah. The recipe is it's a box of gray RIT dye, RIT, the powder, and then get yourself a bottle of the purple liquid dye, and use a capful of that with the box of the gray powder. Soak the coveralls in that, and then run them through the rinse cycle on the washer, and you'll get a nice
washing machine safe.
Yeah, RIT dye is it is for mine because nothing else has come out in those colors. And I'm actually thinking about running my suit through it again. It's starting to get a little orangey again.
What if I have a high efficiency washer? Will it still work?
Yeah, ours the one I did it in was high efficiency, so you should be fine.
Sweet, I'm gonna do that.
And now that we know how to do it, do you guys have open memberships?
Oh yeah, do you have? Is there a membership card?
We don't have membership cards. We do have the custom patches that we can point you to where to buy them yourself. The Columbus Ghostbusters are really informal. We don't have meetings, we don't have dues, we don't have bylaws, any of that garbage. That's something that we sort of got away from when I went to the first event 5 years ago. There was someone there who was a bit of a toxic personality who wanted to be the sad little king of a sad little hill, to use a Firefly reference, and wanted to be the be-all, end-all of the group. He wanted to dictate what people did and how you conducted yourself and that sort of thing. And we said we don't want any part of that. We just want to hang out in costume and go to events and things together. So it's really informal. I wouldn't even call it a club at all. We're just a group. We have a private planning group on Facebook that we'll throw out events, and if anyone's interested, we'll go to it. And it doesn't even have to be everybody. There's no vote. It's like, I'm going to this. Everyone wants to come along. That's great. Is anyone interested? Huh. And we'll just sort of take a poll of the group, and whoever shows up, and we don't care if anyone doesn't. we sort of lament that they're not there, but more often than not, it's a legitimate reason. They've got work or they got something going on with their family that they have previous plans for. So yeah, it's pretty open. Yeah, I mean, we don't have loaner gear because all we have is what we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not like we've got a stockpile of stuff that we can hand out. So that's all the more reason to either build your own or find a way to purchase it, whether it be a cast of a pack. We've got people who've built their own from scratch, like me and a couple other people, and there's some others who've bought kits that are complete kits. They're fiberglass molds of a pack, and those can look pretty good, but be prepared to spend a lot of money for them.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
for sure.
I don't mean to pry into your personal life or anything, but are you a family man? Do you have kids at all?
We have 4-legged kids. My wife and I have been married 19 years this year. We have a dog, a cat.
Congratulations.
We also have horses. We've got a horse
Horses,
apiece
wow.
that are at a boarding stable about 15 minutes from our home. So, no, we don't have kids.
That's even cooler than kids.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I have a daughter, and I hope that she is into Ghostbusters as much as I am.
Well, hopefully
That is
now
up
with
to
the
you.
all-female cast.
That is up to you to nudge her in that direction. If she
Right,
takes
yeah,
to it,
yeah.
great.
Well, I'm the uncle, so trust me, he will have tons of help with this.
Yes. I guess. Do you have any more questions?
No?
I don't know.
All right. I guess my one last question would probably be, what does Ghostbusters mean to you? Like,
How
It
did
is-
Ghostbusters change your life?
It's a supernatural comedy. I mean, you go into it and you think, maybe this would be a horror film of some kind, but it's a comedy, and it's about guys who are not superheroes who are put into a superhero role. They have their own sets of skills. They have their own personalities. They are absolutely fallible. They have flaws. They make mistakes. It's kind of a realistic heroism to aspire to. It's in some ways it's sort of the same thing that this is way out there, so like just stick with me through this. It's sort of the same sort of heroism that police and firefighters find themselves in.
mm-hmm.
Even though police and fire have very specialized training, and they do literally put their lives on the line every day, and I don't mean any disrespect by my trying to compare them to the Ghostbusters, but they are ordinary people who are put into extraordinary circumstances of their own making, and they come through in the end. I think those are the sort of aspirations that that people should strive for. If you've got the skills, and you go into a situation where you might not come back from it. I mean, that's courage. I think John Wayne said it, that courage is wanting to run away from something, but going into it anyway. I'm paraphrasing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're scared to death, but you do it anyway.
Right.
We know what you mean.
Definitely. I noticed in your picture you have like a mic in front of you. Do you have a podcast or like do you voiceover work?
I kind of used to. Several years ago, I had one. It was called Lather's Blather. I think the episodes are still findable on iTunes. It's something that I really wanted to do. I was into it for a while. More recently, I've done guest work on Paul Chapman's Greatest Movie Ever podcast. Those are on iTunes as well. But it's it was just my way of doing a sort of a movie and TV review podcast with some of the weirder stuff that's out there. I didn't go for like the movie of the week that was currently out at the time. I'm talking about really bad Korean animated shows. Were on dollar DVD at Walmart several years ago. Stuff like Star Crash, Westworld, and I did maybe about a dozen or so episodes of that, and simply ran out of the time to produce them. It's something I really enjoyed doing. I didn't have the time, and I still don't have the time. There's so many other things that I'm involved with that take any kind of free time I had away from it.
I guess we're really
So I
lucky.
kind of relegated myself to doing guest shots on other podcasts, most notably the Greatest Movie Ever podcast by Paul Chapman. That's also on iTunes. And like every so often, I'll do an episode with him just to keep my hand in. I'd love to do voiceover work. It's a hard field to get into. I'd love to be the announcer for the Columbus Crew, but I don't think that's going to happen unless they've got an opening.
Be massive, Columbus.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's I do have a microphone. I've still got all the equipment, and I'll still do podcast episodes if I'm asked to. Unfortunately, I'm not using it today because, like I said, Skype was being a real trick to me. So I'm on my phone now.
Well, I think you sound great. You're coming in loud and clear. Although we dropped a couple times, no problem. We got some funny bits in there for when we publish it. But yeah, I definitely I get what you mean about the publish or the producing thing. I used to edit these casts, but I said forget that. Now I just upload them.
Mm-hmm.
If we have a flub, it's just a blooper that's in there. You know what I mean?
Warts and all, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess thank you for making time to be on our cast today.
Sure thing.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, Jeff.
Yeah,
it was great to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I was gonna say, if you need to plug anything, feel free to just throw like, hey.
Okay. Well, the Columbus Ghostbusters have their own Facebook account. We're on facebook.com/ColumbusGB. If you want to see us on person, the next thing we're going to be doing will be the Halloween event at the Mall at Tuttle Crossing, Saturday, October 25th. After that, October 26th, we'll be at the Scaratorium at Cleveland in 161 in the Northland Shopping Plaza. We do lights-on tours for kids from 5 to 7 p.m. The last thing that I can think of that's further on down the pipe, in December, we are hoping to be a part of Fritz the Night Owl's monthly movie series. They're doing a showing of Ghostbusters in December, and we'd love to be there for that.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
All right, and just a reminder, check out GeekastX on iTunes and our Facebook page at the official... What is it again? I always forget what our Facebook's called, because it's not GeekastX, it's something else. I think it's the Geekazoid Official. But yeah, check us out on Facebook. And we'll see you later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot.
No problem.
Going Ghost.